Let's continue with quartic, with a quartic example. Check it out, 2 in the book, x to the fourth minus 1. And there are some expansion rules that you need to remember to solve some questions. X squared minus y squared, for example, is x minus y, x plus y. X minus y squared in a bracket, on the other hand, is x minus y times x minus y. And x squared plus y squared doesn't have an expansion rule. Don't confuse this with the last one, x plus y in a bracket squared. This is x plus y times x plus y. Okay, find x and y intercepts. Start with y intercept. Let x being 0. So y is equal to 0 to the fourth minus 1, 0 minus 1, minus 1. So when x is 0, y is minus 1, 0 comma minus 1 will be y-intercept. X-intercept required using factorization. Let y be 0. So 0 equals x to the fourth minus 1. We can either use factorization to factorize this, or we bring negative 1 to the other side. Write this as x to the fourth equals 1. And remember, if we have x squared equals 1, what do? Like we did in the previous question, we took square root of both sides. We wrote x equals plus and minus 1. So similarly, here we have an even power, and we're going to take fourth root of both sides. The power and the index number are the same, like this. It's an even power. They will cancel each other, so we will left with x equals plus and minus 1. Fourth root of 1 is 1, but because of this we have plus and minus 1, just like x squared equals 1. So we have two x values. The points will be 1 comma 0 and negative 1 comma 0. All right, let's move on with radicals. So remember the rules for radicals. If we have x squared equals a positive number, you take square root of both sides. The result is positive and negative of that number. But if the number is negative on the other side, since when squaring a number you never get a negative result, there will be no real solution. So keep this in mind. Exercise 13, your y-intercept. Start with the easy one. You let x be 0. When x is 0, y is equal to 0 minus 1 times square root of 0 squared plus 1. So minus 1 here. 0 squared plus 1 is plus 1, which makes minus 1. So when x is 0, y is minus 1. That's our y-intercept. Let's find x-intercept. You let y be 0 this time. So 0 equals x minus 1 multiplied by square root of x squared plus 1. Now, zero product property. We have two factors multiplied by each other. Either the first factor is 0, then x is equal to 1, or the second factor is equal to 0, then x squared is negative 1, which is impossible. Like in this note, we have no real solution from this second factor. X squared can never be negative. So no real solution here. So we have only x equals 1. So write the point. The point is 1 comma 0. So that's it. Let's continue with a rational example. Exercise 14. Find x and y intercepts. Y-intercept means let x be 0. So y equals 0 squared plus 3 by 0 over 3 by 0 plus 1 squared. So top is 0, 0 plus 0 is 0. Bottom is 1, 0 over 1 is 0. 1x is 0, y is 0. So our point is 0, 0. To find x-intercept, we give 0 to y. So in this case, 0 equals x squared plus 3x over 3x plus 1 squared. So for rational expressions, you remember, if there is a rational expression a divided by b equals 0, you do cross multiplication. A equals 0 times b, so a is 0. So we can say that whenever we have a rational expression, our top is 0 only, not the bottom. Bottom is never 0. If bottom is 0, it is undefined. Or we could simplify it. So keep this in mind. So for rational expressions, I will directly equalize the top to 0. Okay. So in this question, if the result of this rational expression is 0, it means top is 0. In top, we have x squared plus 3x. X squared plus 3x is equal to 0. It requires factorization. Take out the common factor. X is common. X plus 3 remains. So we have zero product property. Either x is 0 or x plus 3 is 0. So x is 0 or x is, bring 3 to the other side, minus 3. So we have two x values, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're both our answer. We need to check. So why didn't we check the x values in the questions, the previous questions, and I'm checking here? Because there are possibilities that the numbers that we found could make denominator 0. If they make denominator 0, it would be undefined, so we should check. So whenever there is radical function, square root function, like the previous one, so when you give 1 to the x, it is not negative. The square root, under square root stuff should never be negative. So we should check it. And rational expression and absolute value expression, we should check our answer. Maybe in radical, the stuff on the radical is negative. Maybe for rationals, the numbers that we found make denominator 0. For absolute value, maybe it gives you the wrong answer. So we should check for both, for 3 of them. So when we check 0, put it in the denominator. 3 times 0 plus 1 squared is 1 squared, which is not 0, so 0 is okay. When you check negative 3, 3 times negative 3, negative 9, plus 1, negative 8 squared, 64, which is not also 0, so that also checks. So they are both our answers. They are true. So the points will be 0, 0, and negative 3, 0. So there are our intercepts. Let's continue with a ministry question. 2022 second attempt ministry question. Find x-intercept. It's only asking about the x-intercept. So for multiple choice questions, we don't have to solve it. You can either solve or you try options. So second method is always trying options. Okay, you either solve or try options. So let me solve it first. So to find y x-intercept, we let y be 0. So f of x is 0. 0 equals x plus 2 over x. Bring x to the other side. Negative x is 2 over x. Cross multiply. Negative x squared is 2. Divide both sides by negative. X squared is negative 2, which is impossible. Scoring a number negative gives you a negative result, so there is no x-intercept. So we have such situations too. No x-intercept. Or you try them one by one and see which one works. If none of them works, then there is no solution. The following question, we have a rational expression. Find y-intercept. Give 0 to x. So it is going to be y equals 0 squared minus 4 over 0 minus 2. So minus 4 over minus 2 is 2. So our point will be 0 for x, 2 for y. 0 comma 2. Let's find x-intercepts. So you give 0 to y this time. 0 equals x squared minus 4 over x minus 2. So the rational expression is 0, so top is 0. 0 equals x squared minus 4. Bring minus 4 over. X squared is 4. Take square root of both sides. X is negative and positive 2. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're both our answers. We have to check since it is rational expression. Check and see if they make denominator 0. So when you check negative 2, x is negative 2, negative 2 minus 2 is negative 4. It does make denominator 0, so that's true. So this is our point. Negative 2 comma 0 is one of our x-intercepts. What about 2? When x is 2, check denominator. 2 minus 2 is 0, which is not possible. When denominator is 0, it's undefined. So we don't have a point for this number. So only negative 2, 0. And finally, we have an absolute value function. Find y-intercept first. Let's x be 0. So y equals absolute value of 3 by 0 minus 4 minus 2. Absolute value of minus 4 is 4. So 4 minus 2 is 2. So our y is 2 when our x is 0. Our point is 0 comma 2. That's our y-intercept. Our x-intercept, we let y be 0. So 0 equals absolute value 3x minus 4 minus 2. Bring minus 2 over. Absolute value 3x minus 4 is 2. So remember the rules for absolute value. Remember how to solve absolute value equations. If absolute value x equals c and c is a positive number, then x is positive and negative c. For example, if absolute value of x is equal to, let's say, 2, we have two possibilities. Inside absolute value is either 2 or negative 2. Absolute value of 2 is 2, and absolute value of negative 2 is also 2. So we have two possibilities. Similar in this question, we have 2. The staff absolute value, 3x minus 4 is either 2 or 3x minus 4 is negative 2. So we should solve two equations. The first equation, bring negative 4 to the other side. 3x becomes 6. By dividing both sides by 3, x becomes 2. Or bring negative 4 to the other side. 3x becomes positive 4 minus 2, which is 2. Divide both sides by 3. X becomes 2 over 3. So what are my points? My points are 2 comma 0 and 2 over 3 comma 0. So they are my possible x-intercepts. I say possible because this is one of the functions that we need to check the x-intercept. So let's check the x-intercept. So check. So how do you check? So let's just check the points and see if the points satisfy the equation. So 2 comma 0. So when you check it, you let y to be 0. 0 equals absolute value 3 by x, which is 2, minus 4 minus 2. So is this true? Is right side equals left side? 3 times 2, 6. 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 minus 2, 0. So that checks. So the first point is true. Do the same for the second point. For the second point, 0 equals absolute value 3 by 2 over 3 minus 4 minus 2. So is right side equal to the left side? 3 times 2 over 3, 3's will cancel each other. 2 minus 4 minus 2. Absolute value of minus 2 is 2. 2 minus 2, 0. 0 equals 0. So right side is equal to the left side. So both of the points satisfy the equation. So they are both our answers. And in the note, there was one more thing. The note was saying that if absolute value of x is equal to a negative number, what would happen? So it is not possible. We just learned that, and the numbers of for an inside absolute value always come out as positive. So the absolute value can never be a negative number. So this is not possible. If you have such situations, then you'll have no real solution. So I pretty much covered everything about intercepts.